Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to CodeSignal, work on the database SQL coding exercises. If you're joining this in the middle of the playlist, I'll put a link in the description below so you can join from the beginning if you wish. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go to the arcade. I'm going to go to databases. So we're still on the table metamorphoses here, but we're on the last one here, restaurantInfo. So we had to enter the code in the ellipsis, which I already have here because it was a little bit long, so I didn't want to retype it. So you're managing a restaurant recommendation service that has recently started to gain popularity. The information about the restaurant is currently stored in the restaurants table with the following structure. So there's an ID, and then there's a name of the restaurant. As the table grew, you decided to extend it. In particular, add the description, and they want a variable character up to 100 characters. Description of the restaurant, an active, so they want an int, so an integer, 0 or 1 if it works, or closed respectively for the columns. Add these two new columns to the restaurants table using the following rules for all records. So the description should be set to TBD, to be defined, and active should be set to 1. Okay. So this is what the restaurant table looks like. It's got the ID, the name, and then they want it to look like this, where you've got ID, name, description that'll initially be set to TBD, and active all initially set to 1. Alright. So they had some code already for us. We had to enter this, so we're going to alter the table, and the table we're altering is called restaurants. We're going to add a column, and it's going to be called description, and the data type is going to be varchar, and it's going to be limited to 100 characters. So the description can't be more than 100 characters long, and by default it's going to be TBD. So the default, when it's initially added, it's going to add this TBD to all the columns, and also if you insert a row in the table and you don't specify a description, it will put TBD in the description. And then similarly, we're going to add another column to the restaurants table called active. This time the data type is going to be int, and we're going to give it a default value of 1. And then you have to put the semicolon afterwards to know that this needs to be run for both of them separately. And then this just does a select star statement of the restaurant table ordered by the ID to make sure that you did the alter table correctly. So if we run that, we'll see that was correct. If we look at this one, so this is the initial restaurants table, so this is going to add a description with all TBD and an active with all 1, and that's what we see. Alright, hope you guys were able to follow along with that, and this is just kind of a brief thing of how to add columns to an existing table using the alter table function, and just use add to add the column, give it a data type, which there are a number of different ones that you can just look at the SQL documentation for data types, and then if you want to give it a default value, you can use the default keyword and put in whatever you want after that, and it will fill in those rows. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that video and you join me for future videos. Thank you very much.